Hey guys, it's Gabriel the Disciples here, and today we're gonna be looking at the list that I played for the Cheltenham regional, yeah. I played a bit of a pile. Some of you have asked online about the list. It's an interesting deck. It's like Brave, Synchro, Souls, Rose Dragon, Enforcer, Scythe, Hand Traps. It's a whole damn pile. It's the whole full package. I was meant to record a profile with the guys, but we kind of finished late, so I forgot to do it. So I'm just doing it by myself now. Uh, I had a lot of fun. I went 5-2 in the event. I played for prank kids, choose Sword Soul and the Striker. I lost to two pranks. Bit of bullshit games. I lost to Henry, which won. Congrats to Henry, and I lost to the guy that got second, whose name I can't forget. Both of them drew like Riot the Kid and three hand traps the game changed me. I'm still complaining about it, but it's part of Yu-Gi-Oh. But in like general, the deck was super fun. It does so many cool things. Every game we play is kind of different, and especially now that no one really knows what the hell it's happening, you get so much advantage from people just making mistakes. So I had a lot of fun. Sorry if my voice is a bit weird. I'm feeling a bit ill after the tournament. Yeah, I think it was the AC and the card journey back. But before we go into it, gotta ask you to subscribe to the channel. We have like a massive like disparity between the number of views and number of subscribers, like 20-80, of like 80% of people that watch are not subscribed. So if you like our content, you like the YouTube things we do and the tournament things we generate, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. Helps a lot. Alright, sorry for the promos, and we can get into it. So I played a lot of hand traps because I'm playing 60 cards, and if I'm playing 60 cards, I need to draw those hand traps. So I played 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Veiler. Let me just try to get them all on frame. 3 Veiler, 3 Bell, 3 Droplets. I mean, non-engine cards, I guess. 1 Nibiru, 1 Lancia, and 1 Callby. Alright, I know the 1 Nib looks a bit weird, but I'll explain why is this ratio. I had like 18 spots for non-engine after playing all the extenders I wanted. So the most important things in this deck is that you usually want your hand trap should be tuners, because you normally summon your hand trap a lot. The fact that you can play tuner hand traps means you can play less other cards in the deck, because worst case, if you're going first, you get your combo with like right plus a hand trap, right extender hand trap. So those 12 are very cool for that. These are light as well for Chaos Ruler, which comes up in this deck, and Ogre is a teleport target. And that's just good in general. I mean, less Ash, but like Bell has a lot of overlap for this much Prankers and Fundament in the format. It also stops Yankomancer, right? So it's super good. Ash just stops a lot in general. Ogre being a good answer to Fatal Adventure, and it pairs well with any hand trap because you can also Ogre the Griffin. So it has been pretty good in general. And then like drop is like it doesn't work with as a normal summon, but it's a spell and trap that you can send for soul, so it has that synergy. And it has like it's like the one card that you can like draw by itself that probably allows you to play. So this is pretty good all day round. And these three. Why is it one nib, one Lance, one called by? So there are 18 spots, right? I wanted to play this 15, and I wanted to play called by as the 16th. And Nib is probably the best one. I didn't feel that comfortable maining Lancia because I thought there would be a lot of brackets, which there were. But because I'm playing Dagda, I kind of wanted to at least have the one Lancia to have the main deck option of going for Lancia because I don't main Scythe. I'm signing the Scythe. So I'm like, in 60, it's probably more relevant to have this as a searchable option than it is to have like a hand trap that I think is a bit better in Nib. So yeah, that's why it's the one Lancia one, this one Callby. I think the only game time that I drew this against Striker, but I drew Lancia into like Sword Soul, so that was good. Yeah. So 18 hand traps is, I mean, it's a 60 card deck, but with 18 hand traps, you have like a decent amount of non-engine that you can draw game one, and you go to like a respectable like 23, 24 both sides. So it's actually not that bad. The main idea behind playing 60 is that there's so many cards that are replaceable, so you can dilute the bad cards you gotta play to play the combos this deck trying to do. And then yeah, the Brave cards. The main reason this deck is somewhat viable. 3 Enchantress, 3 Emissary. This is standard. I played 2 Fateful Adventure and 2 Griffin and a Draco back. This is less standard, I'll admit. The main idea the others are pretty obvious, but the main idea behind these two is that Faithful is actually just a good draw in this deck. It's better to just draw Faithful than draw no Brave cards, because this is basically like a level 7 extended for free, or level 4 extended for free, because you can just like add this, discard this. It's alright going second as like as a disruption tool, because you can like search, Aquamancer, dump Aquamancer, Aquamancer get right, and then get Draco back. So it actually like does a decent job, and it has a lot of synergy with Magician Souls. So means that like if you have this plus Souls, it's basically an extender plus 2 draws, and you play like 7 copies of Souls. So I really been liking the second one. Another thing it does very well is that since you have a second one, your right next turn is a lot more powerful. Oh. Your right second turn is a lot more powerful, because even if they wipe it and you have like an extra Aquamancer, or like you have an extra right, you get to just basically have the second adventure and the second Griffin for a push. So I liked it all day long. It really catch people off guard, because sometimes like I'd had the Aquamancer engraved from turn one, or like had a ride that I searched for an Aquamancer, and no one expected it's not third, the second Faithful. So I really like this. I even tested 3 at some point. I was afraid of playing it because I thought it might be too janky, but it kind of worked out. And then to complement it, the Souls portion of the deck. So we'll play 3 Magician Souls, 2 Illusion of Chaos, and 2 Preparation of Rites. So this is 7 copies of Magician Souls, basically. Illusion basically adds Souls, puts a card from your hand to the top. Prep adds this. One of the questions that would make sense at first glance is, why would you not play like 3 Illusion, 1 Prep? The reason is that Prep is actually better than Illusion, because if you draw multiple copies, like if you draw Illusion plus Prep, it's a lot better than drawing Illusion plus Souls, because you can Soul send the Prep, but you can't Soul send the Illusion. But you need to play 2 Illusion, because sometimes you want to put another brick and keep it in hand, so you need to have another one you can send for the Souls, and you search the second one of Herald of the Arclight, because Arclight searches the reach when it goes to the graveyard, so it's like another follow-up piece. And I think 7 is like the number I wanted to play. I tried 8, it was a bit clunky with a third prep. This card is also not great going second. Like, it's a lot better at going first than it is at going second. Going second is like just a body, but it's very hard to resolve the effect for like good advantage. So 7 was like the optimal number, and I think this is the split you should play. This card is cracked. Like, right plus Souls is so strong, because you basically get like 3 monsters on board and you draw 2 and you have a negate already, so any tuner hand trap just like is comboed through a hand trap. And you have like everything in the field still. So this was like super good. Really catches people off guard. Another cool interaction Illusion has, I guess I can mention this, is that like if you draw like Illusion plus Celestial, or like Dasher, Mermer, whatever, you can go Illusion, Review, you add Mermer, you put Mermer to the top, you go Souls effect normally, but you can go Small Road, banish the Illusion. So you basically, instead of having to banish the brick, you get to shuffle the brick, which is part of the engine, back, and you get to banish this. So you still have like that for Fusion Blast and your Mermer for the Yazi play. So this is like super cool. I really like this card. I really like Souls. I think Souls is just a cool card. So yeah, and then for Rose Dragons, I play triple Red Rose Dragon, a Rocks Rose, and a Bazaar Rose Shoot. It's like here. Yeah. So Red Rose is very strong, not only with just Tennis or Griffin, it's also very strong with Souls, because if you go like Special Summon Souls and Normal Summon Red Rose, you can just go into Herald of the Arclight, and then like you'd like summon Rocks Rose, Rocks would search Bezo would summon one from grave. So just off Souls plus Red Rose, you have Hawk under a negate, and this also prevents your opponent from using Veiler and Ogre. So it's actually very hard to interact with, and like you didn't activate anything, you just like two cards and you have full combo. So Red Rose is super cool. Red Rose is also very important for Small Road, because it's a bridge between most of the cards. It's a dark level 3, so basically means that you can use any dark to search Aquamancer. It also, yeah, it's like main use for Small Road stat, I guess. There's also, what's the other thing that's relevant? You just need to be aware. Yeah, you need to be aware because it shares defenses with hand traps, so you can't like bridge between a hand trap and Red Rose. Like they're not a link. You can bridge hand trap to Souls to Red Rose. It's usually how it goes because most of them have 0 attack. So every card in this deck is kind of searchable by it. I'll talk more when you get there. But Red Rose is like one of the things makes that card playable, and it's just like a very good card in general. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm very tired. And then we play 3 Vish, 3 Teleports, 1 Destrudo, Foolish for extenders. Foolish has like a lot of utility because you can dump Aquamancer, you can dump Destrudo, or you can dump Snow. The Strudel is just a good tuner extender that makes accessing Riser easier and makes accessing Yazi going second easier. Sometimes you can go like normal Aquamancer, the Strudel, make Yazi and just go from there. So that's pretty cool. You'd play more than one, but it's at one. Teleport's just like a free tuner extender, and on a pinch it works as a defense if you have full combo. And Vish is very interesting. This is not actually a tiny deck, right? Like, but I still play Vish because it's a level 7. So being level 7 is very cool because if you have this plus red rose, you can do the same play that I mentioned before with Arclight, but instead of making Arclight, you just make Baron and you make Hulk after. It also is just like good utility going second because it's like a free special summon that like returns a card to opponent's hand, and it synergizes well with the Brave tokens because you can go like right and summon this triggers Draco back. So it's just like good all around an extender, and I wanted an extender that also allowed me to play going second. One of the things I tried before Vish was Dark Contract and Lamia, but Vish is just so much more utility and pressure going second, so I really like this card. This is super good. And yeah. Oh, another cool thing about teleport. If you're going second and opponent has Griffin, you can teleport for Ogre, and that basically negates a Griffin. So it turns this card into like a bait into most of the boards going second. It's super cool. So yeah, we have this. This is for extenders. Then we have Small Roads, which I mentioned briefly before. But this card kind of links the whole deck. There's so many cards that basically everything searches everything. On the description of this video, if I remember, I will put a link that has all the bridges that's generated by the Small World code, which you can also check the Small World code that I written in the other video that should be the description or in a card here or some shit. But basically, this card, even though it's a -1, this deck works so well with 2-card combos you can afford a -1. Like, if you go -1 to search Aquamancer, it's probably good. Like, I would use Aquamancer, sorry, right, if right said discard a card, right? So it's such a high impact card that you search, it's worth it. You can also just search the card you need for the situation, because it has so many cards, a bit of a toolbox. So into a start so board, you can go like Small World search Vish, break the board. Or if your opponent has Apple, you can go Small World search Ogre, and you have Ogre for the Apple. You can search the Red Rose, or if you have Aquamancer already, you can like search Souls. It works very well with Illusion of Chaos as well, because of the brick thing I talked about. You take it out going second because going second your gameplay and is more streamlined. It's like hand trap, make Hulk. But still, like just this extra consistency going first, especially because you're in 60, so you need cards that allow you to see Aquamancer more often. So yeah, this is super great. Really like it. It's just a pain to resolve though, because you do need to remember the bridges. There's a couple of times I just struggling, like, oh my god, I need to touch this card. How do I do it? Because like it's both sides, your deck's slightly different. You don't have this, or this is out of the deck because you drew it already. So it's a bit stressful, but it's a very skillful card, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah, just check real quick how much time we have. Yeah, it's still recording. Cool. Fusion Destiny cards. So Dasher, Celestial, and this. Dasher, Celestial, Fusion Destiny. I play Fusion Destiny because you kind of need like a plan B. Like, you don't necessarily need to do this, but it's a cool push to do, turn 3. It's also very good when you get hand trap twice, and you can just scramble into it. It also allows for the scythe play post side, which is kind of cool. The downside, I guess, is that you gotta play those two fuckers. One thing that this deck played before, it did play Destiny Hero Plasma over Dasher. Plasma has 600 defense, so it's searchable by Cupid Pitch. So there are some lines you could Plasma people, but Plasma is just not very good right now because of Right of Remister. So I just play Dasher because sometimes the Effect Engrave comes up. This card was just good all around. A lot of my games were games that you try to play, you get hand trapped multiple times, you get into Verte, you just make DP, and you just outgrind your opponent with DP and hand traps. It's very hard to prevent DP, so this was super good, even if those two are niches. And then we have kind of like the harder garnets, I guess. Mermer is what you're trying to summon off Yazi for most of your lines. Deskbot 001 is when you summon a Hulk for Rodon. Creation Resonator is the target for Cupid Pitch. It's a level 3 tuner, so usually you make with a Mermer token and this into Herald of Arclight. It's also not the worst card ever though, because if you just draw this card, and you have like one of the lines that just makes Baron, you can just special this for free. So it's not like that bad. It's just bad. And the one's no. So you go Shooting Riser dumps no in a lot of the lines, and this card is like so insane in the grind game, especially if you go for an Aurodon line, because you can make this. Sometimes you can end on like Riser token, and then you can go like Snow, book one, quick sync right to Baron, Snow, book again. and next turn you can go like snow effect, threaten something and make Verte with the snow. It just helps you kill, helps you have grind game value, helps you play around like droplets and board breakers. So the snow is super good. It's just like not the best draw ever if you are like a clunky, because most of the time your tuner comes from the normal summon. But if you have like teleport, drawing snow is not that bad. You can just make Hulk with like this plus teleport and just keep playing. The only like hard break of those is like Mermer. I mean, there's not other hard breaks like Draco back and Bazaar World shoot, but those ones like this, because you can combo without Auroradon, you can combo without this card, you can combo without dumping this card. Mermer is just annoying, but you need to play it because it's so much value. So this is 60. Now for the actual deck. So the Phoenix Enforcer for the Verte and the Fusion Destiny, I guess. You play a Monk for Vish, an access code. I don't think I summon this card too much. The idea is just like I wanted to make sure that I had a good push turn 3, but I don't think this is mandatory. This might be X as well. An Auroradon for the Hawk and Chu 001 lines. I played the Dark Charmer, Dark. It was okay. I took some DPs. I don't think I ever like needed this card. It came in cool, but like it wasn't necessary. The one card I missed a lot was Link Spider. I really missed Link Spider. Like 2 games I feel I could have won if I had Link Spider to make Verte, like Tronib and stuff. Or like sometimes you have like a Brave token and you need to make the token into Spider. So
Para quanto tempo?
Oh, Alexa just went crazy. So sorry. So you want this so you can make the token into Spider, so you can make Verte. So one Dark or Access code is probably gonna become Link Spider. But it's a cool card, like especially going second into PK because you can like take their card and like climb into Access or like take their Verte, take their DP. So this is pretty cool. And then Dagda for the Scythe play. Even in game 1, if you want, you can just do the same play and just go for Lancey, which is like good enough against most decks. And there's another generic link tree you can just climb. So this is pretty cool. And Hawk Fabrics, which is kind of the start of the show. Another card you could consider for the extra deck is the second one, because sometimes if like the first one gets interrupted, like you don't have how to access Auroradon without having the second one. And having the second one to be able to like tag into Riser is also cool. So you could play Hawk, but this card is like so good. Especially because this deck makes it protected. Like you never make Hawk straight. You try to make a negate then Hawk, so you force them into a position they need 2 hand traps to stop you. So this pops off. And then for the Synchros, 1 Chaos Ruler and 1 Savage. Chaos Ruler is a bit weird because there's a lot of cards you don't actually want to mill. And Cupid Pitch is mandatory, so you can actually mill the target when because you usually make the 8 with Cupid Pitch. But it also has a lot of hand traps to hit. It gives you follow up. It gives a 3k body for free on the turn back. And for the normal combo, the best way to do it is with Ruler. So it's just a cool card, and you can do Savage on that combo instead of an extender. I'll show this line. It's like Hawk plus right. And this is like another negate you can end on, and comes up in some of the Auroradon lines. So yeah, that's cool. And you have a Cupid Pitch for the Mermer line. Some of the Auroradon lines use this. This also burns in time, so you have one condition during your main phase, which is kind of cool. And it searches creation. The Arclight and the Baron, those 2 are kind of what you should do first before doing Hawk, and they are also just negates you can add up to your end board. Very good. Herald of Arclight specifically has a very cool thing in this deck, because you play 2 ritual monsters, you get, when this gets used its effect, you can get to search another illusion, so it just generates a free piece of follow-up. And adding on this plus like Verte for DP, for DP and Scythe, means that you basically beat droplets, because your opponent can't droplets sending a monster because you have this on field. So it's kind of like pseudo FTK. So the possibility of ending on this is very cool, because it kind of insulates you against like every sort of going second card. And 1 Yazi and 1 Riser. Riser is the Hawk tag target. It's also you make it during some of the lines. It dumps snow, and then becomes a tree, and then like you can make like Cupid Pitch with it, or you can make like Herald, or you can make like Baron, depending on the context. And Yazi is a combo piece, and I'm going second too. It's a combo piece in the sense that most of the combos go through like making Yazi and going Baron Pop Yazi or Rodon Pop Yazi. But going second, you can also like, if you have like Brave token, you go like normal summon Red Rose, you make Yazi, you summon a guy, Yazi, pop his guy, summon Mermer, summon tokens, and you just keep going from there. So this card is just very cool. It's kind of what the deck's cornerstone. So yep, I think that's it for the extra deck. And side deck. There's a token collector. One. It is one token collector because you want to dump this off Riser against Hearthstone. So you just play one. I don't think it's like that good of a hand trap into like because it's not good into PK, and I'm pretty afraid of PK, especially both side. So I didn't play more. Maybe you can play more because it's actually alright into Prankets. And in this deck, Token Collector has some extra value because like it's a body of the field. So if you start with Token Collector, you can go like normal summon red rules. It's a lot of pressure already. So you could consider playing more of this. But this is very good. Every time I drew it, it was super good. And you have Gamma, Driver, Lance, Nib. So these are the two missing from the main deck, right? Because it means one Lance, one Nib. And Gamma is just a more generic one, and it's a hand trap that also respects Prankets. So yeah, adding Driver in a deck full of bricks kind of sucks, but these are just good in general. Another cool thing about Gamma is that it's a psychic hand trap. So some matchups that you want to take out Ogre, it felt weird post side because if I took out Ogre, I had to take out Teleport as well, or I had to keep like X amount of Ogres for Teleport. If after I added Gamma, I don't have that problem because I can just add the Gamma and just Teleport for this. Teleport for Ogre is slightly better because it's a level 3, but most of the time the tuner that Teleport summons makes what's the name? Makes Hulk anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, this is pretty good. And then a reboot, a feather duster, and 3 twin twisters for back removal. These were evenlies until the day before. I just wanted something for prank kids. I'm unsure on this. I didn't side this like at all. I didn't do reboot to be fair. Maybe you can play something else, like cosmic or like more things. I was just afraid of not having blowout in trap decks, especially because like in this deck you're not likely to draw multiple of these cards. You're probably gonna draw one at best because you're playing 60 cards, 60. So the odds of drawing one is like 50%. So it's a bit scary territory. Oh, sorry. But yeah. Twin is very good because you have a lot of cards you want to discard, whereas with Aquamancer and against Brankets, if you can draw like Twin plus a way to interact with Griffin, like Twin plus Ghost Ogre, Twin plus Gamma, you basically get to like destroy the Pandemonium and you get to play your whole turn uninterrupted, so that's cool. So that's 14, and for 15th I play the Scythe. You know, this card is, every time that it sets popular, I feel Scythe is more of a context, like a problem that might happen to the format than a problem that actually exists. Like, Scythe is very oppressive, but I don't think Scythe actually happens that often. I think, like, you just never get Scythed because everyone just plays in a way to beat Scythe. But in this deck, it's very cool because, like, if you get rid of the Scythe combo, it beats, like, everything. Beats Droplets, beats Chalice. There's, like, no card that beats it going second. You can even play around Super Poly if you want. So that's cool. But I don't think that's necessarily, like, you need this to win the game. I just tested with it. It started in the main. The more I played in the main, I realized I didn't need it in the main deck. It's another brick in a deck full of bricks. So it went to the side. And then, even in the side, I figured out, like, if I side this card in going first and I draw it, it's a bad card. If I full combo, I probably win anyway. So I don't know how needed it is. But it's like, it's stupid, right? Like, we can all agree. The format would be a lot better if I didn't have to worry about getting sacked from my opponent. So yeah, that's all it for the deck. So I'll record now one combo, which is gonna be Hulk plus Right. And if you guys want to check out like more combos, we can do like a combo video, one of those free flowing combo videos, like the same ones we have for Birds and for Dragon Link. Let's be pedantic. Let's get this video to like 300, 350 likes or shit like that. Share it with people. Try to get more people to watch our content. We're trying to put a lot of effort into it, so it really feels rewarding when you guys when you get good numbers because it means that you're affecting and attracting more people. Cool. So yeah, I'll see you in the combo in a second. Alright, so the combo here is basically if you have Right and you have a way to get to Hulk. This also works like this. It's a similar way for Hulk plus Red Rose Dragon. I'm just using this to show like how your cards don't need to be specific. Basically, any way to get to Hulk works. This is just one of the lines. This is one of the probably this is like what you're trying to do, especially post side. So you start with Right of Armser. You summon the token. You get the Faithful. You summon your extender, which can be Souls, Vishuddha, or whatever. This triggers the Faithful, so Faithful gets Draco back. You go Faithful effect to get the Griffin, discarding the Draco back. Draco back attaches back, I guess. You special summon the Griffin, you normal summon the Tuner, So like can be teleport, can be whatever. You go those two into. I forgot to take the extra deck off. I just split the deck this way because it's gonna be easier. Because if I had to search every step, just takes like extra time. So I make Hulk. We go Hulk effect. We summon Red Rose. So see, we're doing everything with a negate right now because like we still have the Griffin face up. This line you see doesn't actually do 001. So there, for example, if your tuner is 001, you can still do the combo. So it's another thing, like the bricks are bad cards, but they're not all you don't need all the bricks for every line of play. So even if you draw them, you still have like other things you can do. So here we go Griffin and Red Rose into Baroness, summoning another negate with our negate. Baroness is also important because it allows us to pop the Yazi, because Red Rose is gonna summon rocks, and then Rocks Rose searches the Basal. Then we go Rocks and the level 4 token into Yazi. We go Baroness, pop the Yazi. Yazi activates to summon the Mermer. Let me get the dice out. Should have prepped this before. Let's go. Cool. We go Mermer effect. So Mermer loses a level to summon a token. So now Mermer is a 6. Then you get to go Rose Shoot. Oh, this is engraved already, sorry. We go Rose Shoot, just summon the Rocks Rose or Red Rose, doesn't matter. We go both into Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch effect activates to gain 3 levels. So now it's a 7. You go Mermer effect, so it loses a level again to summon the token back. We go this and this into Chaos Ruler. Here you can make some decisions depending on your hand. You can even like choose not to use ruler effect just to not risk milling creation resonator, because if you like at this point it's very unlikely to get hand trapped. It's just like if your opponent has imperm nib and is low rolling it, but usually people try to do it before they do ruler. The advantage of not using ruler is that you don't risk milling the what's the guy named the creation resonator, and then because if you do that you can do herald and then you can like get droplets. But doing this like plays around like imperm nib better because you can like mill hand traps and other stuff. Here I just pretended didn't use it or that we used it and it like didn't hit anything just to make the combo streamline. But this is one of the things that like depends on the context. So we would go because this has reaching link 1, so it would be like 2-1. So assume it blanked. This burns for 800 and we get to search the creation resonator. And then those two go into artifact Dagda. We get to use the Mermer effect. So Mermer goes to 3 and Dagda triggers. So Dagda sets the scythe. And we get another token. You summon the Creation Resonator. And you go Creation Resonator and the token into the Herald of the Arclight. And then you go Mermer and Dagda into Verti Anaconda. And you go Anaconda effect, you pay 2000, you dump these. If you do this combo with Herald in the field, Dash and Celestial get banished, which is kind of funny. But, I mean, if you get to resolve the play, you kind of just win, because you get to just summon Enforcer. Here, what you probably should be doing, especially right now, because people are starting to play Super Poly, is go Enforcer effect during the end phase, and pop itself and Verte, and use the effect to summon back. Just to make sure you don't get, like, randomly fucked by Super Poly, because now you have a light, a wind, and you're gonna have the dark, so you won't get Super Polyed, so this summons back on standby phase, and then you go Enforcer effect, you pop itself and Scythe, and you go effect, so 1-2, you summon the Scythe, and you go Scythe effect, and your opponent can summon from the extra deck. So you end up with like an extra deck lock and 2 negates out of that. Follow-up wise, you have the Enforcer coming back, and when the Arclight triggers or gets destroyed or whatever, you get to go into the deck and just search the Ritual guy, Illusion of Chaos. So it's pretty strong for a 2-card combo, especially because it like reliably beats a hand trap. You can do basically all of this through hand trap because they have to hand trap you in Griffin, and then you can just do a similar line like Shorturl.at. So it's like very, very, very good. It's super strong. But yeah, I think that's mainly it. This is the one combo. There's multiple other lines, of course, but I can't put them all on this video because otherwise it would be huge. So let me know, please, in the comments if you want to see more combo videos like this. What lines you want to play, whatever, or like other things you're curious about. That I'll answer the question on the description, on the comment section. But other than that, I think that's mainly it. congrats again to Henry for topping, for winning, Leon and Betty for topping. It was a very fun regional. I'm looking forward to playing this deck again because I had a blast with it. And yeah, uh, please subscribe to the channel, like our stuff, and I'll see you later.